Good morning, Chandrasekhar. Good morning, Ayush. Good morning, Ishan. Good morning, Kartavya. Good morning, Aditya Suryanshi. Good morning, Ritesh. Good morning, Aditya Mahadik. Good morning, Kunal. Good morning, Pratham. Good morning, Shreyash. Good morning, Arnav. Good morning, Vedant. Good morning, Abhijit. Okay, let's recap. So we have gone through the Kargil Vijay Divas, right? Prior to that, someone had asked me a question about maroon color beret. Right? So I have written one statement. Something you can't get it. Rather, it is a something which you have to earn it. Right. So anyway, Kargil Vijay Divas, right? The war lasted long for around 60 days, right? And it was about recapturing our territories back, right? So the operation had been taken in the Kargil sector, and the name of operation was Operation Vijay. And the successful or the victory of this particular war is celebrated as Kargil Vijay Divas, right, on 26th of July every year. Fine. So it is in the honor of Kargil War's heroes. Fine. So it is always being celebrated in two different places. One is at Kargil sector, and another is at national capital, that is at India Gate, where Amar Jyoti Jawan, right, is there. So Prime Minister of India pays homage to Amar Jyoti Jawan at the gate of, rather, India Gate, right, in New Delhi. Right. So that was what we have considered shortly about the Kargil War. It is also called as the Kargil War. Then we have considered the another type of commandos, right? That is called Ghatak platoon or Ghatak commandos. Fine. Everyone is suggested to please mute your audios. I think Akash Ghadge. Akash, will you please mute your audio? He must be using laptop. Fine. So, I was talking about Ghatak platoon, which is also called as Ghatak commandos. So it is in every infantry battalion, right? So every infantry battalion consists of a Ghatak platoon, right? Other names of Ghatak platoon can be killer or lethal. And the main task of the Ghatak platoon is reconnaissance, right? So they will always acting as a shock troops and spearhead assault ahead of the march of their battalion to the border or in the war field. Right? Then again, if you consider what is their role, so which is quite similar to the sniper platoons, right? And they raid on the enemy artillery positions or airfields. They are capable of directing artillery as well as attacks, and usually it consists of number 20 men, right? So their training is always being carried out at the Commando Training Center, Commando Training Course, Belgav, in Karnataka. Those who are most physically fit and motivated, they are considered, or another way is uh, whether you are volunteer or selected, right? So that would be the case. Requirements, nothing else. You should be a part of regular army, basically of infantry, and uh, you must be physically fit since you are already in the army, right? So uh, it is for any kind of commandos. Age is around 20, right? In the infantry you can enter at the age of 16, at the age of 16. So after having your basic training, so you will be reaching to 18 years of old. So by the 18 years of old, right, you will be getting every kind of training, and if, now you are allowed whether you want to go for a special kind of training or not, right? So that would be the case. So by and large, it is the same case, but many a times it get changed uh, from battalion to battalion, right? Or you can consider different sectors or the fields, fine. That would be the case you can consider in. Fine. Now, you can, okay, let's go to the next one. Fine. So let's consider the next commando as Cobra, right? Next commando as Cobra. Cobra commandos, right? So it is a name of one of the snakes. Fine, Cobra commando. So what it stands for? Fine. So Cobra commando. It stands for Co for commando, B stands for battalion. Cobra battalion for resolute or action. A. So it becomes Cobra. Right. So Cobra Commando. Commando battalion for resolute action. Fine. So if you fine. So Cobra Commando is nothing but the commando battalion for resolute action. Fine. So it is a specialized unit as like specialized unit of Central Reserve Police Force. Central Reserve Police Force, CRPF. Fine, CRPF. Okay, that was a question that what are the requirement for it age limit, but sir, students of NAD could apply for it. Yes, obviously, right. When you will get commissioned and placed into infantry, so you are allowed to go for that, right? No doubt, you can be compulsorily. Each of these Ghatak sections is having two commissioned officers, right? Basically, captain, right? The rank of captain. So two captains among the 20 men. Right? As I said, it consists of 20 men. So among these 20 men, two will be always commissioned officers that are of the captain rank, and I think probably four or I guess four will be the lieutenant, right? So you will be always having, right? So though you go through NGA, you will be allowed to part of the Ghatak platoon. Yes, obviously, that was my thinking that if you could very simply or very easily if you could go for a para, why you will be going for Ghatak platoon? Right. If you are easily allowed to go for the para commandos to become para commando, then right. See, basically para commando is nothing but those who are not officers, those who are coming through the ground duties, particularly as far as the army is concerned, through the JD duties, which is called a sepoy. They will be looking. For them, it is fascinating. Right. For you, when go through NGA, you will not be facilitated to that particular. So I'm not categorizing or I'm not discriminating, right? Or I'm not comparing any of these. But I'm saying if you could get a chance to go to the higher one, why you will be going for the next to it, right? So you'll be always, perhaps again you'll be going for energy, right? Instead of being only in para, right? Obviously you'll be trying to go to the energy, right? Because energy is only for 3 years. That's it. And after, I think we haven't seen about energy, so at that time I will make you understand. Fine. So it is a specialized unit of Central Reserve Police Force, CRPF. That's fine. Now, here you can consider its formation. So when it was formed very recently, I mean in 2008. So September 2008 it was established. Right? What? Cobra. Why? What is their motto? Their motto is victory for gallant in war. Victory for gallant in war. Right? It is something like Vijay ya Mrityu kind of thing. Right? So I think Sangrame Parakrami. Right? So that would be the case you can consider. Now someone is asking about the meaning of gallant, right? So if you want to know it in Marathi, so it is Shur Dharsi, right? And if I want to tell you, so it's a person showing bravery, right? So brave or yes, brave or heroic, right? Brave or heroic, right? Or fine. Anyway, so victory for gallant in war. And yes, what I was talking, yes, next one is where it is, where its headquarters is. So its headquarters is at New Delhi. Right. It is a different than the usual armed forces. Right. So it is always looked after by Directorate General. Directorate General. So Supremo of CRPF is Directorate General. Fine. As like in Indian Army, it is General. For Air Force, it is Air Chief Marshal. For Army, it is Admiral. So likewise, Directorate General. We always focus only on these three, right? The Supremos of the three armed forces. But don't do that. Right? You should always look after these as well. So Directorate General, fine, which you can consider. Now, the Cobras are proficient in jungle warfare, right? So they are proficient in jungle warfare and guerrilla techniques. Guerrilla tactics, right? And jungle warfare. Fine. So they are always what we can consider trained to have the guerrilla tactics and jungle warfare. What do you understand from guerrilla warfare? Right. You know, it is a form of irregular warfare, right? So guerrilla irregular chef in which you will be having a small groups of combatants, right? So that would be the case you can consider. Fine. So irregular shapes, and then whatever it may be, right? So you will be always using some military tactics, right? For example, yes, and there mean that is the next point. Why they have been established, why they have formed, right? So they established they're originally established to counter the Naxalite problems. Naxalite problems. Right. So dealing with Naxalite is a difficult task. आखिर वो तो आप नहीं होते, right? So if enemy, you can shoot them, right, without thinking. But about these, you have to always think that they must deserve a second chance, right? Or they must give an opportunity to get what you can consider improved down, right? So that would be the case. Anyway, so originally they are established to counter the Naxalite problems, right? We have problem with government. Not exactly. See, no doubt, at some of the places, definitely there will be the problems with government. But do you think that throughout all these Naxalites there is a problem of the government? No, right? And if suppose there is a problem of government, see, always keep in mind every problem with government can be solved by discussions. I strongly believe it, whether it is for the Naxalites or whether it is for uh, right. So that only is the case. So this is nothing but a kind of terror, right? Again, another form of the terrorism, I will simply call it as, right? But not throughout. Huh? Always keep in mind. At some of the places, obviously, there will be many a times genuinely they have pinched, right? Or uh, they haven't come across. Yes, that is the case, right? In most of the what we can consider places. The reason is that they wanted to have control on the forest resources, right? That would be the case. Fine. Anyway, याला फाटे फोडत बसलं तर किती राहतील. So originally established with the to counter the Naxalite problems, and they were created with the view of attacking on Naxalite insurgents within their camps. Right? Always keep in mind, created with a view of attacking on Naxalites, right? Within their own camps, within their camps. Here you are going to the Naxalites and trying to attack them or kill them, right? So that would be the case. You can consider it. Now, in this, so cobras are always trained, and in some of the cases, it is because from where they get arms, right? So whatever the weapons or the arms they are using, so obviously they are provided through the way the terrorists got it, right? And at many of the places they are sponsored by some external agencies or the foreign agencies. You can consider, fine. So that would be the cases. If anybody wants to take a screenshot, you can take, because I have to consider another point. Okay, go to the next one. So they are cobras are trained in obviously gorilla warfare. Tackling of explosives, tackling of explosives, right? Then jungle, right? So gorilla warfare. Engineering, field engineering means what? Right? According to that particular field where you are, right, in the environment. So you will be always having some kinds of engineering, right? So that particular way. For example, you are long sustained. You want to long sustain. Right? Rather, this is one of the point of training of cobras. Right? They have to sustain long. Right? म्हणजे ते जर एकदा बाहेर पडले 3-4 दिवस त्यांना तिकडेच राहायचं. So in that case, how they will survive? 4 दिवस जायचं तर 4 दिवसाचं खाना तर बरोबर घेऊन जाणार नाही. Right? So that would be the case you can consider. Fine. Megraj, don't worry. Though it is blood, I will be making it screenshot and share. Probably it will get. You just follow me what I'm saying, right? So then tackling of explosives. So right, there are some of the operations every other day or after some interval, you always hear that in an ambush, some of the jawans of CRPF got died. Right. That means what? The tackling of explosives. So while living in the Naxalites or in the forest, you have to always tackle the explosives, right? You will be always taking care about the explosives. That would be the case. You will be always consider it. Fine. So tackling of explosives. The next point you can consider the jungle survival techniques. What I was talking, right? Jungle survival techniques. Right, jungle survival techniques. Many a times you must have seen on Discovery channels or National Geographic, right? How some of the people get survive by eating any kind of food, right? Obviously, by doing at least a primary treatment, right? Or sometimes, if possible, uh, you can provide a heat treatment to that particular, and then you can eat it, right? Then tactics to fight insurgents घुसखोर म्हणू आपण त्याला, right? So that would be the case you can consider. They are always having some specialized training in specialized training which includes jungle warfare, right? Because ultimately they have to be in jungles, so they are specialized trained in jungle warfare. Then obviously physical endurance, as I said, they have to go for a long operations or existence or survival, so they have to be physical endurance. Most important here is the map reading, right? Because you have to find out the path, and that should be correct. Map reading and GPS. right? They are always trained for intelligence, right? They are always trained for some kind of slithering, slithering, right? So these are some of the trainings you can always consider about the cobras, fine. So that would be the case about cobras, fine. Now, where they get training, right? So there is a training. The training period of cobras is of 3 months, right? Obviously, you must have completed your basic training, right? So training of 3 months for cobras, right? That will be in the jungle warfare institutions, right? In months training, 3 months training, right? In CRPF jungle warfare institutions in Belgaum and Koraput, right? And Koraput. So these are the two places where they get training, right? So if you consider the period of their training, which is the of 3 months, right? So where this Korapat is, so it's a district in the Odisha, fine. So we can consider this particular part. And obviously, you know, Belgaum is in Karnataka. Fine. Now, here again, you will be having, they are always, okay. See, the training is similar to the training of NSG, right? The training is similar to the training of NSG, right? So, okay, that's fine. So no issue with the simple visibility. So similar to NSG. Since we haven't seen NSG, right? So wait for maybe this session, right? So similar to NSG. Now, you know,
Dear students, please rejoin again once this session is over automatically. We have less than 1 minute.
so they are trained, they are highly trained to adapt the art of camouflage, CAMOUFLAGE, camouflage,